Hey, I'm Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. I Stand with Ilhan goes global after the President of the United States attacks the Congresswoman online. As Indonesians vote, the nation is on the lookout for fake news. War crimes committed in Westeros subjected to the standards of the ICC is how Newsfeed celebrates the new season of Game of Thrones. And a camel walks into a store. Why, you ask? We'll tell you in today's Animals Doing Stuff. And at the top of our newsfeed, we stand with Ilhan. The Muslim congresswoman is being dragged on social media by the President of the United States and his acolytes. And why? Because she's a woman, because she's Muslim, and because she speaks out. Here's a demo.
We can build a much bigger section with more money.
Let's debate in private.
Trump is no stranger to controversy, but he's being slammed for a provocative tweet about Ilhan Omar, which he pinned on his Twitter feed. Many say it incites religious hatred and violence against the congresswoman who is getting death threats. The tweet is a cut-and-paste version of a speech Ilhan made at an event by the Council of American Islamic Relations.
Because they recognize that some people did something.
Her words, people who did something, referring to the perpetrators of 9/11, was taken out of context and used to suggest she was disrespectful and was downplaying the attacks. Thousands of people are using the hashtag #IStandWithIlhan Omar. And American film director Ava DuVernay, who often challenges Trump online, posted an excerpt from her film 13th, saying, since you like to intercut speeches in news footage, here's one that actually is in context. Let's take a look.
Knock the out of him, would you? Seriously. Get him out of here. In the good old days, this doesn't happen because they used to treat them very, very rough. And when they protested once, you know, they would not do it again so easily.
Democrats rushed to her aid. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said, members of Congress have a duty to respond to the president's explicit attack. Ilhan Omar's life is in danger. And presidential candidate Senator Bernie Sanders said, Ilhan Omar is a leader with strength and courage. She won't back down, and neither will we. Ilhan Omar maintains that she will continue to speak up for minorities and against hatred. Should we expect more of these tweets from Trump targeting one of the 2 Muslim women in Congress?
Okay, let's take a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media. Now, misogynists attempted to bully a scientist who was part of a team that photographed a black hole. Her name is Katie Booman, and after this picture of her reaction to the image of the black hole started going viral, people who didn't really know enough about the story started giving her credit alone for discovering the black hole. Now, she attempted to correct this, but not before others on the internet started trolling her. Now, the male scientist those trolls tried to give all the credit to is defending Dr. Booman. Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp were down all over the world for 2.5 hours over the weekend, forcing people to communicate using their voices and look at actual things rather than pictures of things. No explanation as to why the apps went down, but it's most likely to do with Facebook servers. Now, Indonesia is holding elections, and as with all major democracies around the world, the danger of fake news polluting the political debate is real. Now, Natalie is in Jakarta for us and spoke to someone who's trying to work to make sure that people are better consumers of information they receive on social media.
We cannot solely by just blaming the social media for doing this. It is mostly actually being done by the social media users. It's the reason is because people are easily get offended, they get angry, and then because also lack of literacy, because basically people are lazy readers. They just read the title and they'll just send it without reading the whole article.
And do you find that there are particular issues when it comes to politics that are more likely to be susceptible to hoax?
Well, every political issue can be material, can be ingredients for these political actors to be used. Like, for example, this early year there was that hoax saying that there are 7 containers already with chosen ballot to win the incumbent, the current president. So the related organization already actually come to the location and find out that there are no such thing.
So this is the office?
Yes, this is the office. This is where we do our daily fact check result, and please do have a seat.
Okay. So this is one example of how you fact check something. So someone sent in this video. Can you explain what's in the video and how you debunk the hoax?
Yes. This is basically a claim that has been coming over and over by an attack by saying that one of the largest Islamic organizations, the Nahdlatul Ulama, is supporting one of the candidates. As you can see, this is consisting of collage or edited video which doesn't seems to be, you know, showing the original video. So usually this is done by cutting and mixing other contexts. Like, for example, I think this is a video from several years ago, and the way they're doing it is by just cutting and mixing other video, and also by changing the audio using other video.
The work for this team will continue long after the campaign. There are only 6 full-time fact-checkers, but they're ready to continue busting hoaxes.
And Indians are voting in national elections there too. And as you're about to see from voters in Uttar Pradesh, there is a difference of opinion. Now, some say the economic legacy of Modi's government has not been good enough and they want change, while others are pleased that India now looks tougher on the world stage, so want to stick with what they know.
इतने परेशान कर रखे थे मोदी ने, कई नोटबंदी, कई मजदूरों की मजदूरी नहीं, कई कुछ भी नहीं आया ढंग, किसी की नौकरी नहीं, किसी की मजदूरी नहीं, किसी की कई हिल्ले नहीं, सभी बंद करके रखे थे। और क्या करते भाई?
जब से मोदी सरकार आई है, चाहे पाकिस्तान हो चाहे चीन हो, सब किसी की इतनी हिम्मत नहीं है कि जो भारत की तरफ आग उठा सके। सुरक्षा के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा, मतलब कई % लोग अपनी सुरक्षा के लिए वोट दे रहे हैं। मतलब देश
और भाई पिछले इलेक्शन में दी थी मोदी को। अच्छा, नु कहते हैं वो कुछ करेगा। अच्छा, बाकी क्या कुछ नहीं, ईब का जीत को देखा है।
नरेंद्र मोदी वोट कर रहा है क्योंकि विकास अच्छा कर रहा है देश के लिए। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जैसा प्रधानमंत्री नहीं है।
Now, the United Nations are accusing France of not doing enough to help the thousands of people who live on the nation's streets. The number of homeless people in France is increasing year upon year, and the UN say it's a systemic issue.
On est tout seul. Donc, on est tout seul. De tourner en rond comme ça, de taper à toutes les portes et que personne ne puisse m'aider.
The system is such that people aren't even accessing the most basic emergency services. If they're lucky to get through on the phone, and if they're even luckier to get a place, they get that place for one night, maybe 2 nights. Then they have to be, they're basically ejected and then back on the streets.
Politique qui coupe dans les budgets de l'accès au logement est une politique en réalité qui est meurtrière.
around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Monday. An historic mosque has been turned into a bar and events venue by the Israelis. The mosque is in Safed, which was once home to 12,000 Palestinians. They were all evicted with the creation of Israel in 1948. The mosque was called Al-Amar Mosque. It's now called Khan Amar. A blog in China has said that these Zaha Hadid-designed buildings have bad feng shui and so have had to pay $29,000 in defamation. The Wanjing Soho is in Beijing, and the blog said they looked like pig kidneys and that the businesses inside should leave because some of them were failing and that was increasing the bad energy around the buildings. The builders' developers sued, saying the blog was having a harmful effect on their business. 1/3 of relationships begin through dating apps in the United Kingdom, and police there are warning people to be more vigilant as there's been a huge increase in the number of recorded attacks linked to dating apps. There were 329 attacks in 2015, 658 last year. And this footage of Julian Assange skateboarding badly in the Ecuadorian embassy has been published by the Spanish newspaper El País. This and other strange behaviours are being held up by Ecuador's president as the reason Assange's asylum at the embassy has been rescinded. Assange is wanted in Sweden on sexual assault charges and in the US for computer hacking charges. In 2010, his website WikiLeaks published evidence of the way the United States security forces kill, kidnap and torture people. Now, this planet, which is just past Neptune, is called open brackets 225088 close brackets 2007 or 10. Pretty catchy, eh? So, the International Astronomical Union have launched a competition to rename it. The internet can choose between 3 names. I guess they've learned from that Boaty McBoatface thing. Now, the names you can vote for are Gong Gong, which is a Chinese water god, Hole, which is a European winter goddess, and Vili, a Nordic god who is brother of Odin. Voting closes on the 10th of May, and Newsfeed has already cast its vote. We went for Gong Gong. And it's begun. Winter has come and Game of Thrones Season 8 has started. Now, I've not seen the first episode yet, so no spoilers, please. Now, we know the show is pretty violent, but have you ever wondered just how some of the show's characters would fare if subjected to the justice of the International Criminal Court? No? Well, some fans have, so this is what they found.
HBO's Game of Thrones fans all have their favourite character, but you'd probably want to avoid them IRL. And in time for the final season, a group of volunteer lawyers from Australia's Red Cross analysed everything we've seen so far to see who is the worst in Westeros and work out who had the most war crimes while vying for the Iron Throne. The man topping the list won't surprise those who know. Ramsay Bolton would face 17 charges if he had been brought before The Hague, including torture, perfidy, taking hostages and rape.
And you're all fine-looking men. My dogs are desperate to meet you. I haven't fed them for 7 days. They're ravenous.
The Mother of Dragons came in second, primarily for using those dragons to inflict superfluous injury or unnecessary suffering. The events of the Red Wedding in Season 3 gives Roose Bolton third spot with 8 violations, almost all in the same episode. And fan favourite Jon Snow ties for 4th, with his arch-nemesis the Night King with 6 violations.
I know how to do it.
Turns out the King in the North could be in trouble for the use of child soldiers.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
The Night King also racked up violations for slavery and attacking religious or cultural objects.
And in Animals Doing Stuff today, we have something completely normal, a viral Facebook video of a camel going to a pet store, only in America, eh? Now, the Lewis Farms and Petting Zoo took their camel, which is, of course, called Jeffrey, to a store in Michigan and then filmed it for all the internet to see. And it was a big advert for Lewis Farms and Petting Zoo. As you can tell if you listen to the narration, when the lady asks, "Have you been to Lewis Farms and Petting Zoo to see Jeffrey?" Hundreds of thousands of people have watched this. It really is sometimes good when Facebook goes down. And that'll be all from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints, and suggestions. I'm at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube, and you can subscribe to our channel. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Follow, subscribe, and add. See you again soon.